In my head, I am thinking about Bailey and Pardo and wondering why Granny Torrelli didn't stay in Italy. But then she wouldn't have married my grandpa Torrelli, and she wouldn't have had my mother, and my mother wouldn't have had me. Well, not this me. And I am wondering why Granny Torrelli never wrote to Pardo, and why Pardo never wrote to her, and why that still bothers Granny Torrelli now after all these years. And she gives me an answer out of the air, as if she knows my question. She says, "Rosie, I was such a stubborn girl, too stubborn to write a letter, too stubborn to say sorry. And here is the thing that I learned. A friend like Pardo does not come along every day." She pokes at her oranges, shiny with olive oil and sprinkles. And then out of the air I sense something about Bailey and the Braille books. Until today, Bailey could do something that I could not, and he wanted that, and needed that. It hits me, zap, just like that. "Granny Torrelli," I say, "let's go to Bailey's. Let's take some zuppa to Bailey and Carmelita." Granny Torrelli hops out of her chair. "See, see, see," she says. "Zuppa for Bailey and Carmelita." She pulls out a plastic bowl, pours in some soup, bread too, she says, grabbing the loaf. "Oranges," I say. See, oranges for Bailey and Carmelita." We zip around the kitchen, dash out the door with our zuppa and bread and oranges, and we slip across the lawn and up the steps and knock on the door, and suddenly my heart is thumping like a little frog in my chest, because what if Bailey slams the door again, and what if Bailey still is mad, and what if Bailey doesn't want our zuppa and bread and oranges? The door opens. Carmelita opens the door, a big smile on her face when she sees Granny Torrelli. They hug and start chattering in Italian. Carmelita waves her hand toward the stairs. "Bailey's up there," she says. "Go on." She doesn't know about our fight, I think. I go up the stairs slowly, afraid. I do not want another door slammed in my face. Bailey must hear me coming, because he stands in his doorway looking toward me. "Bailey," I say, "don't you be mad at me. I am a stubborn Rosie, and I am full of myself, but I don't want you to be mad at me, and I will stop reading Braille, and—" "Wait," he says, and he goes back into his room and returns with a blank piece of paper, which he hands to me. "What?" I say. I am thinking he is being mean, playing a mean joke, giving me a blank piece of paper, but then I look closer, and there are little bumps on it, and I run my fingers across it. There are just 2 words to read, and those 2 words are, "I'm sorry." And I hug Bailey. I hug the living daylights out of that Bailey boy. And we do not talk about it, not this day. Instead, we go downstairs and we sit at the table, me and Bailey and Granny Torrelli and Carmelita, and we eat more zuppa. Tutto. In the dark, Granny Torrelli and I slip back across the lawn with our empty bowls. "Very, very good zuppa," I say. "Si, Granny says. She glances back at Bailey's house and then at me. "Tutto va bene, Rosie. All is well. That zuppa, that Granny Torrelli, that Bailey boy." That's the end of our story. I hope you enjoyed it.